Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another exclusive interview on FinanceFeeds. My name is Nikolai Isayev. I'm editor-in-chief of FinanceFeeds. And joining me today is Greg Rubin, who is head of the Axi Select program. Greg joins me all the way from Australia, and I'm in Cyprus. Greg, welcome to another interview with FinanceFeeds.
Thank you, Nikolai. Always a pleasure to speak to you.
Likewise, I hope you're doing well. And happy Friday.
Happy Friday. All very well, thank you.
Yep. So, as I understand it, Axi Select is celebrating its 2-year anniversary. We've spoken quite a bit about the Axi Select program over the last 2 years. I wanted to ask you, looking back, what do you see as the program's biggest achievements so far?
Yeah, it's just a week ago was our 2-year anniversary. It's crazy to think when we launched to where we are now. And I actually, on our anniversary, I did a video, an internal video, and sort of rehashing or reliving all the highlights and the milestones over the last 2 years. So, um, the, yeah, it's a good question, but there are few. There are quite a few sort of milestones or highlights that we've had. But I think for me is the uptick in the program. The uptick we took on a different model. We felt that there was a opportunity in the market to create an industry, a trader centric program, a program that leveled the playing field for traders. And ultimately, one of our highlights is the fact we've got over 40,000 traders on our program now, and we're seeing success from many of them. We've seen stories, and you just listen to some of these stories, and it's incredible to hear. And when we set out, as you know, our aim was to provide a full comprehensive trading program that ultimately not only provided the funding but gave all the tools to traders so they can become better traders. And when you see these stories and hear these stories of traders improving and managing big sums of money and making money, it really aligns, and it's everything we wanted when we were set out. So we're very proud and humbled by the reaction our program has and traction it has received.
Great. Awesome. Many traders say Axi Select stands out because of its credibility in the industry. And I wanted to ask, what do you think has built that trust within traders and within the industry over the years?
So again, I think a lot of it is the fact we were the first broker to launch in the space, and we were the first to create a model which we used our size as a broker to provide a model that is very different and one that is transparent. Everything we do is transparent, is aligned with what we set out and what we wanted to do from the beginning, and that hasn't changed. It's so important to us that we can build a platform that gives traders a fair opportunity, and you can see with our rules that set up in a manner that give traders that flexibility to trade to their suited style, and the automatic payouts that we have as well. Payouts have been a big problem within this industry. So we make sure that's all automatic. We don't get involved in the process. You can always see the sum that's owed to you, and then that gets automatically paid at the end of the month. So it's very much in our ethos. It's very much how we set out, and we haven't wavered from that. And I think it's been, as I said, as it has been well received. There's been enough word of mouth on the program as well, who have spread the word that Axi Select is genuine. I've received my payouts, and the tools are there to assist you and improve your trading.
Hmm. And I remember, I think a few months ago, we actually spoke to two traders who were in the program that I think achieved some specific milestones, if I recall, if I recall correctly. And I guess I was just wondering if there's been new sort of new candidates or people who have been moving into the different tiers within Axi Select program and kind of taking it one step further.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that now. You spoke to, it was our first two pro $1 million traders. I'm happy to say we have $5 million traders now. And just to, I guess, to give you some statistics, we've had over 40,000 traders on our program since we launched. We've given allocated funding, over $400 million worth of funds have been allocated. We've paid out over $10 million to traders. And so far, the biggest payout, 1 month payout, has been $108,000, and that was from a Pro 500 trader, actually, not a Pro M trader just yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm pretty sure that milestone will go, but yeah, well, look, we're seeing a lot of people move through the program, and as you know, it takes time to. It's a real trading program. It's not to make a quick dollar. You have to go through the stages. You got to spend time. You got to place trades. So you're not going to start the program on day one and get to the $1 million level. It is a commitment. It is, again, if traders put in the effort and traders put in the time, the rewards ultimately are spread out through the program. In a sense, we're not looking for people who want to speculate and make a quick dollar. There are other programs that are more suited to such traders. But if you're a trader and generally looking for a funded program, we certainly back traders in that sense and provide the tools necessary for traders. And that's the, the whole plan or structure of Axi Select, is to find traders, support them, make them better traders, or assist them to become better traders, while at the same time very firm on the fact that there's only so much we can do. Not every trader is going to make money. Trading's not easy, but what we can do as a broker is to provide a fair and level playing field, and that's the ethos of what we do at Axi Select.
Mm-hmm. Great. You mentioned several times that the community has grown to over 40,000 traders. And I wanted to ask you, how has the community sort of evolved over these 2 years? Because obviously you didn't start out with that many traders in the beginning. And I also recall us discussing several times, I believe there is I guess, a forum or a form of communication that the traders have between each other within the program where they can, I think, communicate between each other, but then also communicate with members of Axi Select and get guidance, get education, get support for all the different things that they need, whether they're someone who's new to the program and new to trading completely and they want to test out their skills and learn, or someone who's, a little bit more experienced or, dare I say, professional, who comes into the program and is looking for something that's a little bit more, let's say, complex or unique, that they want to know or need to find out.
Yeah, that's a great question, because community is very important to us, and we have an exclusive trading room where we've got professional traders in. There's daily analysis, there's weekly webinars, and there's a library of education, and that's part of the learning process and tools. But there's something quite important there that you touched on, and when we launched our model that we created, the idea behind it was to serve, and the structure was set up to serve as an alternative to the prop firm space, but also to serve as a revolutionary type of real life trading account within the broker space. And when we launched on the 4th of September 2023, it was the 1st of September that the MFF news broke and the whole prop industry turmoil sort of started. And I think because of that, by the time that when we launched, initially we were seen as a prop firm, right? We were seen Axi Select is a prop firm with a different model. And so our initial clients were off the back prop firm traders, or traders who had tried the standard model or found that this was a more suitable model, as I said, a more trader-centric model. And so that's how the community started. Recently, I guess, while the prop firm space has calmed down a little bit, or maybe that's not entirely true, but it definitely feels like it has stabilized to some degree. We have started to explain to the market the other side. Ultimately, if you look at the Axi Select setup, it's a real life broker account, exactly like you'll get at other brokers, exactly like you get at Axi. You can choose a pro or choose a standard account. And all it is an account without funds in its purest form that trades alongside it. So you as a trader, you sign up for a broker account, you trade your broker account, and if you make money in your broker account, you're ultimately going to keep the money you made plus get the percentage of our profit on top of that, which is a completely new concept in the broker space. And that's what I think the market has started to realize, that, hang on a second, if I'm opening up a broker account, why would I not join Axi or an Axi Select and get the added benefit besides, of course, the edge score and the dashboard and the trading room and the bells and whistles. It's important, very important to us in terms of helping traders and assisting them in their journeys. But from its purest form, it's a trading account. And that's something which has really taken off in the market the last couple of months, where the realization is that if I'm going to sign up for a broker, Axi Select is something that no other broker offers, as far as I'm aware. And we have seen a big change in that sense that we now have a mixture of traders who are trading at brokers as well as prop firm traders, and we're kind of seeing a good mix in that community. And for us, for me especially, it's brings joy because that's exactly when we set up the program, was to create something that sort of found benefit in both markets, and our community has definitely moved towards that now.
Hmm. Great. Awesome. I guess I wanted to, you sort of touched upon this already, I think. But I wanted to ask, compared to when you launched, what changes in the broader trading industry and trading behavior have you witnessed, and has that impacted the program in any way? I guess where I'm coming from is, if you look at retail trading today, or let's say in the last 6 months, it's a lot of gold, it's a lot of oil. It's very sort of specific products that are in very high demand amongst traders. Obviously, we can say the majors as well, right? Major currencies and things like that. But from what I'm seeing is a lot of gold and a lot of oil. Obviously, with the things going on in the world, right? Um, has that sort of impacted the program in any way? Perhaps the trading room has more content um, now than it did before, let's say, that's dedicated to some of these financial instruments, because you're seeing, let's say, or in response to, let's say, higher demand from traders to trade these types of products or contracts. And also, it seems to me that traders today are focused on looking at geopolitical news, economic news, let's say, more carefully, or more than they did so before, let's say, you know in terms of fundamentals versus technicals and things like that.
Yeah, that's a great question. Things have changed significantly in this market, even since we launched. And the first part, to go down the product route, that has surprised me. My background being a gold or metals trader, it wasn't that popular back then when I was in the metal space.
Ah.
Uh, it surprises me how much gold flow we get. It really seems to be becoming more and more popular, and Bitcoin as well. Just to add to the slew of products, Bitcoin and gold are by far two most popular products, traded products right now in the Axi Select program. And then the currency market, the FX market, has become pretty quiet, and I think it has been, I won't say range bound, but it has been pretty quiet in terms of, flat in terms of volatility. And we are starting to see people move away from that into things a lot more exciting, or a lot more that move about. So we've definitely noticed that in terms of the market. What has also taken me back is how, and I guess it probably shouldn't have, it makes sense, is how many more people are using bots, their own EAs, to trade as opposed to trading manually. We do see a big proportion of our traders are now using EAs on our program. And again, we're one of the few programs that allows EAs. So as long as it's your own, and I guess if you do buy from someone else, that person's not on the program, you'll be okay. But if we don't allow copying or sharing of EAs, but if it's your own EA, that's completely fine. And we do see quite a lot of that on our program. So it's definitely made a difference. Um, in terms of the way traders view in technicals, those fundamentals, we are seeing a lot more technical trading. I think that's probably been the last 5, 6 years, even a bit more. I kind of always, as when I put my trading hat on, I go back to 2008, 2009, when we started to see the QE. I mean, and the sort of money being put into the markets, and fundamentals ever since then, in my opinion, have become less and less relevant in these markets. And we often see a lot of, especially now with liquidity driven moves, we're seeing so many markets moving the same direction. You know, we used to hear about gold being a safe haven, or gold trading inversely to the S&P, or it seems very, very correlated, these markets right now. It's almost risk on or risk off. And I think we are seeing these traders adapt to that in terms of taking emotions out and using EAs, which certainly is another reason perhaps why fundamentals are less important right now. Um, all in my opinion. I'm sure there are many fundamental traders who will call me out on that. But it definitely feels that traders are moving in that direction as well.
Sure, sure. I think you bring up a very interesting point, robots, EAs, because I've discussed this topic with other members of the, let's say, funded trader community. These were colleagues specifically from the prop trading space, but we did discuss it because it's very interesting to me. Different brokers have different policies when it comes to using any kind of automated trading on the side of the retail trader. And it's interesting to know that Axi Select, again, if you want to, you could use an expert advisor. Um, and I'm wondering, I guess, um, uh, not necessarily why you're letting traders use them. I mean, I'm under the impression that sometimes these things um, tried to find not loopholes, but they tried to find patterns within the markets that I don't know. Sometimes to me, it seems like they're not necessarily. Um, I guess the word I'm looking for is like gaming the system, so to say. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I think it's a bit of a controversial topic in a sense. So I'm not. While I'm not surprised that Axie Select lets clients trade with expert advisors, I guess uh, I wanted to get your take on that, and because you have a lot of experience in just trading yourself.
Again, I think that highlights the difference between us and a lot of the prop firms because if you look at brokers, which brokers don't allow traders to use EAs? Because ultimately, what Axis Select is, it's a real life trading account, and we have a big trading team, and their job is to manage flow, and that's what they do. You know, we see a lot of, I mean, all brokers see a lot of abuse across the board in terms of traders that come in, and there's always different things that certain traders try to do to take advantage. And Axis Select and Axi are no different to that. So, as a broker, we can handle that flow and manage it, and that is for the percentage of traders who are trying to abuse us. Now, I've always said to you, as a trader, in order to make money in these markets, you don't need to be fighting trading conditions. And that's the most important thing. We don't have a high watermark level. We don't have any issues with trading over news or holding positions over weekend or daily drawdown limits. Uh, and it's the same point. If you start introducing those rules or start introducing not allowed with EAs, you're basically making traders' jobs more difficult. And the world is moving towards EAs. If you look at the broker stats, more and more traders are using EAs, are using bots, some form of AI as well, some form of intelligence. So, why, as a broker, if we handle that flow on a daily basis, would we not allow traders to do that on our program?
Hmm. Yeah,
But
it
but
makes
where we
sense.
draw the line, and again on the abuse, is we don't allow you to use somebody else's EA. We don't allow people to copy each other because then you have 500 people placing the exact same trade, and that defeats the purpose of Axi Select program, right? We want to find and give traders the opportunity to grow. So we, yeah, we absolutely believe that that's the direction that trades are moving, and as a program, we need to offer it. And managing the risk, managing the abusers is on us, and it's something that, as I said, as a broker, and go back to your original questions on why Axis had this credibility or it's had a lot of trust in the space is because of things like this, is because of giving traders that fair opportunity. And I think that's very important.
Hmm. You mentioned, we just talked about different financial products or those that are in high demand, as compared, now as compared to maybe before. And you mentioned a lot of traders focusing on technicals, right? Do you see a correlation sort of between, again, expert advisors are things that help you essentially conduct a technical analysis, right? Or in a sense, they look at the price movements and the price action and do a prediction of sorts, right? Do you think it's the volatility on these specific markets like gold, Bitcoin, for traders focused a lot more on technicals that's leading them to use these types of technologies and including possibly in the future LMMs or artificial intelligence or whatever else, which are the big buzzwords today?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, as you point or referred to, should I say, the fact that these EAs are still programmed by humans. So there is still that element of being programmed to understand the markets. Now, because they are being programmed, they're being programmed with specific parameters. So on a quantitative level, when news or fundamental analysis is more qualitative, you can't really program an EA to be qualitative. I mean, you can, but ultimately you can see why it's moving more towards the maths behind it, or more towards if then, and it sort of takes out that emotions when you're trading, because you've got a bot, which is obviously important, right? One of the biggest weaknesses we have as traders is we have emotions. And yeah, how often, and I'm sort of going back in time as a trader, when you said, had I left my trade alone, I would have hit my target price. But there was a tweet or some news came out and the market dropped, and I quickly sold because of that. And then the market hit support and went higher. Or I moved my stop loss higher because I didn't want to give up my profits. And then the market would have still hit your target price. So emotions and handling emotions are one of the most important parts of trading, where most traders fail, is being able to do that. It's an absolute skill to be able to manage and handle emotions. And I think that's where EAs are very, very good, is that you build your EA, and ultimately you give it more room or more trust than you give yourself as a human. And I think that's very important. And as we get the more sort of AI in the space, and more of that intelligence and that ability to not just function as is, but to actually absorb how it performed, how it reacted, gather that information, you're going to see a lot more EAs, in my opinion, and a lot more sophisticated methods, and more ability and more data to backtest it with, a more reliable information. And I think that is going to change the space quite significantly. And there was actually one point, and I think this is more towards a question you asked earlier, but now that I think about it, and what's changed in the space, in the broker space, is the race to the bottom in terms of spreads. It's quite crazy how, while this is all happening, we're seeing crazy low spreads. I, I was, just to give you a story on this, I was speaking to someone regarding the Bitcoin spreads in Axi Select. And we pride ourselves, our pricing is really competitive across the board. And I remember, before I moved to Australia, so 2019, looking at a certain broker, and the spread on Bitcoin when it was at $6,000 was 100 points. That was $100 when Bitcoin was at 6,000. And now you see it as low as 10 or even $15 can be considered high by some people when it's at over 100,000. And I couldn't believe when I got told, well, that's considered high. It's like, really? It's really, really crazy. Gold, the spread on gold, it used to comfortably 50, 60 cents you could pay comfortably on the spot price. And that's considered very, very high in today's world. So we are seeing very competitive pricing across the boards. And for certain products, it's become quite fascinating to me on how that's come in at the same time as the market's gone to more, or to fewer products, should I say, in terms of where the big volume is being traded.
Hmm. Yeah, and again, that's sort of the consolidation that I was talking about, as compared to 5, 10, 15 years ago, in terms of what people are trading. In terms of the price competition, I mean, I agree with you. It's the nature of trading today. I mean, if there's so much volume that goes into those products, then everybody's basically fighting for business. Everybody's fighting for getting the trader on their books, right? And I think you made a great point. I mean, Axi Select, and then going back just to Axi, the global brokerage, in terms of being a retail brokerage. Your policies, the way that your trading is set up, the things that traders can do on your trading platforms, set you up to be the broker that you are today. And so if you have restrictions, like we spoke about with regards to EAs or robots, you can say goodbye to those traders. Those traders will probably leave and go elsewhere. And so if you want to retain and build your business in today's market, those are the things that you need to have to let traders do what they need to do. And if they succeed, you'll succeed.
But that's the important part, right? And I guess we are looking to find top traders, and for top traders to succeed. And if more and more top traders are using EAs, if we want to source, or we want to keep top traders on our program, it makes sense for us to find these traders and to allow them to trade how they want, within reason, of course. But I should say, provide them with flexibility.
Sure, sure. Well, yes, to all of our viewers and listeners, trading is risky. So just keep that in mind.
Absolutely. And we're the first to say that, right? That's something I think I say in every interview I do is you're not guaranteed to make money trading. Trading is really, really difficult.
It is. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not like driving a car. No.
And again, and that's why we're here as Axi Select. We're here to help new traders with the education and the program and the funding. And for experienced traders, we offer that platform with funding up to $1 million. But I think the important part is if you're new and you're learning to trade, the part about Axi Select is there, the education, the learning, the structure, and most importantly, the liquidity that we handle, right? The biggest problem we see going back to the broker world is people are undercapitalized. And again, we had 1,000 to 1 leverage now in this industry. That wasn't a thing when I was, a few years ago. It was even 500 to 1 was considered a lot of leverage. So we are seeing traders who want to start with the smallest amount of money and have the highest amount of leverage, and that's just a recipe for blowing up. It's very difficult to manage such risks. So we try and assist traders on that, but it's all structured in terms of the funding that you get at each stage, and it's build its way up to $1 million. You don't need to be at the $1 million to have a benefit of the Axi Select program, and I
Hmm.
think that's quite crucial.
Yep, that's a great point. Greg, to finish up, I wanted to ask, is Axi Select still unique in the sense, has Axi Select encountered any competitors that are specifically like the Axi Select program? And if you haven't, great that you continue to be unique. And if you have other brokers who have launched similar programs, what is Axi Select going to do in the future to continue to be unique and stand out?
So the one we haven't, as far as I'm aware, and one of the reasons that it's very difficult to replicate the Axi Select program, because one of the crucial components is an edge score that we've created in-house, which judges traders' progression through the program. But not only that, we back this edge score to the point that we give traders $1 million of our money based on how high their edge score is, amongst other factors. So we've got belief not only within this edge score. You could say, well, other companies could create an edge score, but they've got to believe what they've created to give traders up to $1 million. It's not easy to create an edge score that helps traders, improves their performance, as well as something that we basically put our, back up. We put our money where our mouth is, should I say. We back that up by saying how we'll do that. So in that sense, it's very difficult to copy what we do. Um, and we haven't seen, as far as I'm aware, anything remotely similar in the broker space or in the prop firm space. So in terms of what we're going to do, we are in the process now of really building out our product. We've got a new dashboard that's just been started to be worked on from a tech perspective, and it's going to be a lot more interactive. It's going to give a lot more information stats to traders to really, again, using the AI component in a sense to be able to see and understand what they can do to improve their trading off the back of that. We are working on our edge score explainers as well. So we have within the edge score, we've also got explainers, which tells traders the 3 things that are affecting the score the most, what they can do to improve their score. We're working to make that a lot more automated or a lot more sophisticated process, a lot more detail to go with that. There are a few other things that are in the works, but I'm going to refrain from mentioning them yet until probably ready to discuss when we meet again in a few months. I'm sure we'll catch up again. But there's some really, really cool stuff we're working on to give more to the $1 million traders. I know $1 million is a lot of money, but we want to create something more. We always say it's a program, and ultimately we want to see traders forge long-term careers. So we're working on something to provide the top end of the program as well. And we just launched MT5 a few days ago.
Oh, nice.
So there are a few other things that I'm not going to mention yet, but I hope to be able to tell you next time we
Sure.
speak.
Sure, sure.
But
Yeah.
we're also improving our trading room and our education. So I guess pillars of our program: education, program structure, and product, and giving traders more information and assistance and education is the next steps for us to do.
Yeah, makes total sense. Absolutely. Well, Greg, we'll wait for more updates, probably closer to the next time we meet. And I think hopefully we will meet here in Cyprus. You and I had an offline discussion on who's where, so hopefully we will meet in person in Cyprus, let's say early next year, and we can find out about what's going on with the program at that stage, and kind of where you are on some of these new things and improvements to the current setup. And I wanted to thank you for coming in today. Coming in today for joining me today remotely from down under. And we wish you and Axi Select the best of luck. And we'll speak to you soon. And bring me one of these T-shirts when you come.
I'll make sure to bring some merch when I come. But Nikolai, thank you. It's always a pleasure to speak to you. And I look forward to hopefully meeting you in person early next year.
Likewise. Great. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.